Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Insider, brought to you, as ever, by Vanishing Inc. My guest today has almost 250,000 followers on Instagram, 340,000 on Facebook and some on Twitter as well. I'm unaware of his interest in TikTok. All that is to say, he is a huge name, and after 3 amazing seasons of Magic for Humans on Netflix, a hugely popular virtual show and amazing live shows, I'm delighted to say hello to Justin Willman. Justin, how are you this afternoon?
I'm very well, Damien. Thank you for that intro. I wish I
Oh,
knew. I wish I knew more about you, and I could ramp you up. You know, give
um,
the host a proper ta-da. But thank you,
I don't need it.
Damien.
I get
He
all of my love and
loves.
appreciation from Josh and Andy.
Okay, blink twice if you're lying. He loves his orange hoodies, and he plays a guitar. I assume it's on the wall.
Hey, you're good.
Thanks for having me on the podcast.
Thank you for agreeing to do it. What's your magic origin story? You have 27 seconds.
I broke my arms when I was a kid. I was laid up with casts, and my doctor kind of recommended card tricks as physical therapy. I started doing card tricks in St. Louis, ring 1 of the IBM, assembly 8. I was surrounded by magic and was in the right place at the right time for me.
Boom.
Boom.
Let's talk about Magic for Humans.
Let's talk about
This
it.
was a magic show that also seemed to resonate with people that don't normally watch magic shows. How did you manage to do that?
Mm. Oh, wow. Yeah. I think I've always, well, not always, I think more in recent years, liked knowing that magic can kind of somehow be, I don't know, like not polarizing, but some people just kind of don't think magic's their thing, and they've
Yeah.
never
They've
seen
had
good
Uncle.
magic, and yeah, and then
Yeah.
there are people who when they hear about a magic show, they're like, hell yeah, I want to check out that show. There are these two subsets of people, and I wanted to do a show that satisfied the magic lovers as one myself, but also had, I think, a healthy dose of cynicism and absurdity and comedy, if nothing else, that made it not just about the magic. And I think it kind of satisfied both the audiences, I hope. I kind of have tried to do that with my live material and kind of everything, just because, I have a short attention span. I'm a little, you know, cynical about my own magic at times, and I feel like it's good to, uh, you know, salty and sweet balance.
Was the material selection part of that? Because it did. And I'm really interested in trying to understand how you got people that thought they didn't like magic to enjoy the show. Obviously, it was there popping up on Netflix, being recommended by the algorithm, and all of that. But was it you? Was it the format? Was there particular tricks that you thought might hit people that thought I don't like magic? Was
Well,
there a process?
yeah, I feel like using magic as just the means to talk about different things that I found funny or was really interested in, or just the psychological experiments. The marshmallow test.
Hmm.
Was an early idea. Just thinking that this feels like a place where you can introduce magic into this thing that we're all aware of in an organic way. Like I'm always looking for ways to introduce magic in a way that's not heavy-handed and maybe and add something as opposed to just like, why are you here, magic? We didn't need you. This was good as is, and and then at the same time, I think always never doing magic for magic's sake. Like always trying to make it about either something funny, whether it's smart or a dumb funny, whatever, like funny, or about something interesting or smart. I think people like watching things that make them feel smarter.
Hmm.
It's kind of it's we're in a time, luckily, where I think people enjoy nerding out about things and getting entertainment
Sure.
with insight. And yeah, I just want to make the show that I would want to watch, being a magician or not. And yeah, I'm really proud of it.
No, you should be. The other thing you did was make it honest and real. And when I was researching this, I saw that you'd said in previous interviews that one of the favourite bits in it was the routine for your mother. Could you explain the plot of that for anyone that missed it, and then talk about how that was created? Because it was an amazing piece.
So after season one, I kind of my takeaway was that wow, like the things that are actually true and true or autobiographical or um, just clearly like personal resonated more with people. The things that I was really excited about doing ended up being the things that people enjoyed watching because I think you can tell
Right.
when something is delivered with passion. So as season two was happening, we were about year seven of my mom dealing with Alzheimer's and had been diagnosed
Hmm.
probably, yeah, 7 or 8 years prior. And that was a thing that had been progressing and was like weighing on me. And it was like, that's the biggest thing happening in my
Of
own
course.
personal life. And you don't normally,
Mm.
there are certain things that are kind of obviously sad. Anything that is sad, you're kind of, you don't necessarily bring it up or talk about it because you don't want to bum people out. That's kind of this perception that we have. But I realized at the
Sure.
end that like
Sure.
by doing that you make people feel less alone versus talking about what's going on for you. A lot of people are dealing with the same strife. So I wanted to do something in the show
Mm.
about Alzheimer's, about what we were going about the because there is this the I think it was an NPR story listening to it about how even when someone has very progressed memory loss, music can kind of unlock this thing. And they would work in memory care facilities where they would do music therapy. And, someone who couldn't remember their own name could go into the lyrics of a song that they knew, when they were a teenager,
Right.
and that's magical to me. So I felt like this is a way to combine, I think, something that's really personal to me, but also I'm getting this insight, in dealing with someone you love with Alzheimer's, and you know, memories and these triggers, and also so much that we don't understand, and what we don't understand is magic. And uh,
Hmm.
I wanted to do a thing where I took these tickets from a show that my mom saw me perform. I opened for Jason Mraz at many years prior, and reminded her of this music box that she used to play. It was mostly nursery rhymes, and I kind of create holes in the tickets to have those then be her favorite song. And it was obviously different than anything else we shot for Magic for Humans, which is always kind of look, with real people who, just people who I've never met before. And, it's kind of, silly and always try to be funny. This was like a shoot day where it was like a very stark shift. We kind of pared it down and had just me and my mom and rolled camera for a while. And it was, I'm so glad we captured this little beautiful time capsule. Anyway, it's my favorite thing, as you said at the beginning, just because it's the realest thing. And I'm
Right.
kind of, yeah, happy with how it turned out.
Was it hard?
It was hard.
I don't mean method wise. I mean the
It was
process
hard.
of doing that with your mum.
It was hard because I hadn't like done, my mom was like my first audience for so many years as a kid, and see me perform more than anybody. But someone's ability to appreciate magic, it changes with Alzheimer's. Like to
Sure.
understand plot premise and kind of a trick that has more to it than just something visual happening. Um,
Yeah.
so and I hadn't performed magic like for her like that for a long time, and it was really really sad to me because just the it was just a reminder that those certain interactions I might not have again, that I had when I was a kid, that
Yeah.
just sharp audience give and take. And she was always such a great critic, so this was like performing magic for a version of my mom, and you
Right.
have these milestones where you remember, uh, where you realize like, wow, this is a new level. Like this is something different, or it's getting more progressed, and that was one of them.
Yeah.
So it was
Thank you
hard,
for
but
your.
very rewarding. I think like I the hardest part was her being dealing with her confusion about what these cameras, who these people are. Why is that light
Right.
up there? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
she was very in the moment, but also, you know, unaware that all this was a part of this thing. Yeah.
Sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. 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 What was what was the most challenging sequence technically to shoot in the series?
Technically, interesting. You know, like there. Listen, I'm not renowned as a sleight of hand guy at all. Okay, the skills that I know uh, are all skills that in a from age like 14 to 18, like crammed into my brain and hands ability to do. The pass, the double lift. Like I would hate to try to learn the double lift now. Because when I do try to learn something now, it's
I
humbling.
feel you.
But like I used to do a miser's dream, and I hadn't done like coin productions in forever. When I was a teen, I would do miser's dream. So we did like a bit where it was based on the swear jar. When as a parent or a family member,
Hmm.
when you swear, you have to put money in the jar to contribute to everybody else. So it was kind of getting people to cuss and pulling coins out. That was like, for me, I was like, wow, I feel like I'm really like a magician. I'd forgotten that I even could do that thing, and it's just a
Yeah.
testament to like
Yeah.
muscle memory. But I think the most technically complicated thing was we did a multitasking, time efficiency experiment where I was mounted to a lazy Susan and had to do four tricks for four different people at the same time, being
Hmm.
rotated at random
Hmm.
intervals. And that was, you know, I think just technically a bunch of little pieces that had to fall together perfectly because
Sure.
you can't kind of go back and reshoot and also I was trying to fight the nausea. It was very
I can
dizzying.
imagine.
Hmm.
I can imagine. How much material was there that ended up on the cutting room floor? And is there anything that annoyed, maybe the wrong word, but annoyed you that was left out?
Mm, well, a lot was left on the cutting room floor. Like Stuart McLeod, who's my
Uh huh.
magic genius and co EP on the show, and um, you know, I always marvel at his brain's ability to pull off the things that he can. But he thought that we probably that for every 10 10 tricks we shot, three of them made the cut. Three of them made the episode. So a lot of tricks didn't
Wow.
make it. Some entire segments didn't make it. Um, but when you go out, and you're like, whatever the premise may be, let's say the premise is a bit where oh yeah, I'm like the reverse tooth fairy, so I'm turning people's teeth to money into teeth. Yeah, that was the bit. Instead
Okay.
of trick. Yeah. Anyway, so we maybe had eight or nine like tooth fairy money tricks, and when you're out there on the fly and you're sometimes they just they don't look as good out in the world, and and three of them make the cut, but as long as you can still tell the story, that's great. But in terms of what I
Sure.
wish, man, what do I really regret didn't make it into the show? We did a thing for the Christmas episode about the elf on the shelf. This
Hmm.
this nefarious little elf that people
I'm
put
aware of
up
his work.
to uh, give fear to their children. And so we did like a haunted spirit cabinet thing with the elf on the shelf that just didn't end up working like it should have. We did a thing with flat earthers where I went to a flat Earth meetup in season one, and just didn't. It was an interesting day, but yeah, there's some
I
things
can
that
imagine.
there's nothing that didn't make it in the show that I thought should have been in the show. But
Right. Okay, that's
yeah,
good. That's fair.
but I was in there every day
Um,
obsessing and being the one putting things on the cutting room floor. So
Yeah, that's not
I'm
many
jaded.
magicians have that situation where they're in charge of what's going on. That put you in a fortunate place.
Yeah, we were very lucky because it was kind of this, well, also lucky just that we had such a limited budget. We couldn't hire someone to be the showrunner to actually do that job. So, I kind of handled that and luckily, yeah, it was a very big blessing to have no cooks in the kitchen
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
you didn't
yeah.
want to be in the kitchen. Yeah.
Sure, sure. I was when I was researching the questions for this, I was typing in Justin Willman to Google because my Google skills are pretty legendary. Did you know?
That's how I prepared for this interview as well.
Did you know that when you type in Justin Willman, the autocomplete suggestions comes up with Justin Willman twin brother? Were you aware of that?
I was aware of that. I love that.
It's wonderful. But talking of your
I
alleged
love
twin
that.
brother, what did you think about the internet chatter when the show first aired with people guessing for methods? There was one that I loved that I saw on Reddit. There was the bit with the park bench and the bag that, without going into method, as far as I understand, uses a fairly classic magical method for it to work. But there were people going through it frame by frame saying you can see where the green screen wobbles at this bit and you can see this thing. Does it annoy you that they think that camera tricks were being used, or are you so pleased that they were so fooled the only solution they had was camera tricks?
No, it annoys me. I wish I was cool enough to just be like, haha, and be pleased that they were barking up the wrong tree. But no, I do. Yeah, so I wish I was that way. But no, I do get annoyed. I do like to defend the hard work. Not that I even understand how you would do that with a green screen. Like I
No.
don't even understand the technology of what they're pointing up. But yeah,
They were saying there
I
was
think it's
artifacts, there were
great.
video artifacts that you could see at
Yeah,
this time
yeah,
code and all of this stuff. It was amazing.
exactly. Listen, there is a great satisfaction in taking a very, very hundreds-year old
Yeah.
method, whether it be, the Decolta chair in the Invisible Man bit or, a reflective surface to to an old method and manage to still fool people in, you know, 2020, so much so that they think that it's fake. That is satisfying. But I don't know. There's the rub, man. It's hard. It's like when you do your job really well, people just think it's fake. Like when magic is done, it's the too perfect.
Uh-huh.
It's like that perfect. You have to. If it's too unbelievable, it must be fake. But then if it's like not unbelievable enough, well, it sucks. So it's like, where is that middle ground where they appreciate it for what it is? I feel like on Fool Us or on AGT, like they've managed to create a show format that gives it this live sense of legitimacy where people don't say then it's fake. They're actually focusing on the trick. But anything edited, I think, not in front of an audience comes under suspicion.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned the Invisible Man, and that trick really was quite the thing. And now there's a bunch of videos of normal people duplicating that
Uh-huh.
bit. Is that flattering or galling?
Yeah, that was incredibly. That was very flattering and very, very unexpected. We did not. I'd like to think that we knew that we intended to have a copycat kind of viral thing, but that was a happy accident.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was
some of them are
amazing.
very, very, very funny and very cruel.
How important are the people you choose to surround yourself with when it comes to creating as much material as you have had to do for the 3 seasons that you've had?
Oh man,
And how do you go about finding those people?
they're the most important. Those collaborators, and the ultimate goal is that once you create a great collaboration with uh, that person, that you can continue that going forever because you create such a shorthand. Um, We,
Mm.
I mean, the De La Vegas, Rico and Lisa, I've known for 24 years, like as whippersnappers doing magic competitions and always maintained friendship. Stuart was a new friend within a few years, 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. I was Barry and Stuart. They're the greatest. I've always been the biggest Barry and Stuart fan, so it was
Ah,
just a dream to pick his brain and mess with him. And I mean, Blake Voigt's been a friend for many, many years. Okay, I guess what's interesting is that the, the good relationships seem to always start friend and then become collaboration.
ah,
Uh, Danny
interesting.
Garcia, Kyle Marlette, Marcus Eddy, all these great guys and gals. Like, yeah, it was always friends first, and then it was like, hey, let's let's make a thing. Um, there are some. What's interesting is that, man, I mean, magicians are so brilliant. Like it's just a problem solving muscle that that is so unique, and I never get enough of like just the magic jam, the brainstorm, because you feel like you're just when you're in this zone where if there's just kind of like a higher level of thinking where you know methods and like the process, the plot, like you kind of you're there's so much that you don't need to say because you can kind of a Jedi mind meld here of creativity. And yeah, I love the group. I love the team.
Is there going to be a fourth season?
There is not going to be a fourth season. Three seasons. However, with the caveat that I kind of pitched Netflix a new version of, well, just a new show, not even a new version of Magic for Humans, but I
Okay.
think holding on to the DNA of what worked well in humans into a kind of a different format. That's what we're working on now. So it's kind of a different, a little more of a docu-series format
Okay.
that hopefully has a whole bunch of new flavor, but also an occasional Susan. I don't know if they happen to be there.
We need an occasional Susan in our
Everyone
life.
needs an occasional Susan.
How do you feel about Magic for Humans now being kind of a brand that I've heard there's a Spanish version without you?
Mm, that's true. I don't love it, but it is what it is. It's kind of like something that comes out of the success of a thing, so that
Hmm.
should be fun, nice, and rewarding. But yeah, it um, I didn't have any creative involvement in that. That's probably the part that just feels like
Ah,
the weirdest thing.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. I thought that
someone,
would make sense to
yeah,
talk to you.
going out on a date with your wife right in front of you, not asking for any tips. I know what she's into. I could help.
So you've been cuckolded by Spain. But
Uh,
now you're back touring again. How does that
yeah,
feel?
feels really good to be back touring again. It feels it's kind of been some stops and starts, obviously, with
Hmm.
the pandemic, and I'd like to think like that I had like since I had 2 years to write so much more live material, but I didn't. So I'm kind of like hitting the ground running with like, okay, here's a new bit here, here's a new bit there. I'm working in like a bunch of new bits at once, which is probably not the smartest for my own anxiety level, but it does make you feel alive when you're
Yeah,
sandwiching
yeah.
a brand new bit between hopefully some trusty routines, and yeah, it feels great. I'd like to shoot a special of the live show this year. That's kind of next on my to-do list.
Oh, that would be good because for me, the price of the flight to America plus the ticket for the show is kind of cost prohibitive. So that would be great.
Yeah, because
Or you could tour England. We wouldn't mind. We'd have you.
I would love to tour England, my
We'd have
friend. I
you.
would love to tour England. That would be great. Um, but yeah, it feels good to be back on stage.
I can imagine. Did you think about how to translate the Netflix show to stage, or did you just set about trying to create a kick-ass stage show, almost forgetting about the TV show?
Mm. For my live tour, you mean?
Mm.
For what I do? For yeah, I kind of try to not think of the TV show at all. I feel like
Oh, okay.
they're totally separate,
But obviously, a lot
animal
of people
species.
that
I
are
mean,
coming to see it, it's the same name,
yeah,
and a lot of people coming to see it would be first introduced to you on Netflix.
yes.
So
I guess what I mean is that like I don't have, because it's all happening here on the stage, it's obviously the same sensibility and sense of humor and tone, but
sure,
it is, you know, um, my goal, obviously, first and foremost, is like when people watch magic on TV, like the best case scenario is they say, well, I got to see this in person, or there's no way it looks that good in person. And then when they do see you perform, whether they see those tricks or not, like they either walk away saying magic was better in person than it was on TV, or like, oh, it wasn't as good as it was on TV. And I feel like magic in person is like you'd really have to botch it up to not make it be better than what's on TV. Like live magic is the gold standard. So people feel like they get that extra mind blow that they came for, not knowing what they wanted it to be, but they get that. But I kind of don't want to like I don't want to just give I don't do like magic for Susan anymore on stage. Like I don't want to I want to tell a new story. Like
right,
I kind of don't
yeah,
want to
yeah, yeah,
dwell on the past. Yeah. Um,
yeah.
And what's great is that the material in the live show, most of it has never was never appropriate for the TV show. Like the material choice for live versus TV are very often very different things that have the strengths for each one. So it is a very new show when people come see it, which I like.
Fair, fair.
New to them, yeah.
Sure, sure. What what magic do you do if you're out with your friends, like non-magician friends? You're at someone's house for dinner, or you're at a bar. What do you leave the house? What's in your pockets?
Nothing,
Nothing.
nothing. I that makes me I like that. Like oh man, if I think there's a chance someone's gonna like I'm gonna have to do a trick, when I'm
But there
in
must be
like
a chance, man.
real, I mean like when I'm in like real person mode, like I mean like right now, if my wife and I were going over some friend's house and they were like, oh, her husband's very excited to see you do a trick for everybody, then I would kind of be like, ugh. Like then because I need to either be in real human mode, like or like it's gig mode, like I'm going to
Right.
perform. Even though
Uh
gig
huh.
mode ideally looks like you're a real human doing it, but it's different.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
method behind it. So yeah, I don't do magic when I'm out hanging out. If I had to, oh, I don't have. If I always have a mismade bill and a thumb tip ready to
Okay.
do, but I don't have it on me now. And when I say always have it, I mean like it's in my backpack if I'm traveling. But yeah, I don't have anything on me when I leave the house. And I will say, like I used to always have, a deck ready for Williamson's Torn and Restored Transpo. So it
Mm-hmm.
had a dupe on the top, and then like a kiss card, somewhere to do the blow a kiss. The card's blushing, there's lips
Mm-hmm.
on. And then I would always have my thumb tip, and I would often have my ring flight. And that would be what I would have on me probably up until age 30-ish. And then I
Okay.
either yeah, I kind of fizzled. But sometimes I do wish that I would like when you see David Blaine, dude is doing magic all the time in
Mm-hmm.
real life, all the time. He is making people's day left and right,
Yeah.
and that's what makes him happy. So that's him at his happiest. And I think I sometimes wish I had that ethic. I don't even think it's his work ethic. I think it's how he plays. Sometimes I
No, it
wish.
is. Yeah. Yeah, it is. I did the marketing for EMC when they
Uh,
did that a few years ago, and I was out in Portugal at Luis's studio, and a few of us went out for drinks afterwards, and nobody knew who he was there. And we were just at a bar, and he was just going up to strangers, just doing card tricks. It's just what he likes. Nobody, he wasn't doing it because they were going, "Oh, it's David Blaine." he was just some American guy in Portugal doing card tricks on people because he loved it.
Yeah.
It was quite a wonderful thing to see.
Yeah. It is a beautiful thing to see, like when someone would
But
would
now
do
you're
what
bitter and
they
jaded.
do. I don't know. Yeah, it's like it's not there's something about like maybe it's when maybe as a kid, like it was always like magic spotlight, let's do it. And then I
Hmm.
just started like wanting to turn that part off occasionally.
I
So,
guess it's also like a comic at a dinner party, and somebody saying, "Tell us a joke." It's like it
well,
doesn't work.
it's true. It's harder for us. Like if I'm asked to do a trick at a dinner party and it's kind of like, wow, now and I got nothing on me, like then there's no there's no bigger bummer than, a wizard not being able to
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
perform because he needs his satchel, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So,
I have a question for you from my 7-year-old daughter Isis, who really likes Baking Impossible, and she was watching it a couple of weeks ago, and I said, "Oh, did you know he's a magician?" And I'm having him on the podcast. And she said, "Oh, oh, oh! Can you please ask him? Did he ever do any magic for the teams that were baking?"
mm, it's funny. Um, Hi, Isis. Isis, yes, she's 7.
Isis, yeah.
I did so much magic on that show that we filmed, probably maybe 2 or 3 tricks per episode. That I worked with Trig Watson, a brilliant magician, also Magic for Humans creator, uh, and they all but 2 of them got like edited out because it's insane how much time they compress into 45-minute episode, and there was just no time for my 21 card trick, my piles. It was too much time. So yes, I did magic for the teams and for the judges, but you only got to see a little bit of it. The rest was just it was like Damien, it was like our chat before we started recording. It will never be seen.
All that stuff.
It was
It will
just
never
in
be
the
seen.
ether.
What excites you or interests you about magic today?
Hmm. Well, I I mean, personally, I am, always peeling back the onions to myself of this art form. Like there's so much. I'm just every day. Every time I perform or every time I'm like trying to work on new material, like learning something new about something I didn't know. Learning more about what I don't know. And that's to me very, very exciting to be able to have this art form that can grow with you. And the more we have to say as humans, there's more ways to say it with magic. That excites me. I feel like there's the the appetite for, I think, the I don't know, not that it's a post-pandemic thing or just the current state of our highly uh, technologically numb, culture, like we're so bombarded, but just I never get tired of watching people watch magic, like watching whether it's me doing it or watching people watch somebody else do magic, because it really, it provides a vital service, like it's like a public service
Hmm.
and a way to tap people into the now and to joy and to wonder and like even I when I watch like Dan White's virtual show, when I kind of I watched with my wife, like it was so good. It was really, really good. He transcended the medium so well. People are holding the things in their hands and they're marveling at what's happening in their hands at their house. And and you're just reminded that, like, yeah, this is like we are providing a important, psychological happiness boosting. Like it's a great artistic service that our craft has entrusted us with. And it's fun to see, like our conversation began, the people who wouldn't consider themselves magic fans, come to see the light,
Yeah.
and to feel that joy together.
Yeah, you remove the memory of Uncle Johnny doing the 57 stage mathematical trick at Christmas when you were 7. What are you working on right now?
Well, I'm going to. I've had like a whole bunch of tour dates scheduled for February that had to get pushed for Omicron. So I have like this. I have like pent up, magic FOMO of not performing it. So I got a week at the Castle next week, late parlor. Um,
Ah,
and which is so late now that I'm 41 and we have a kid, like the idea of my first show being at 10:15 is very
oh,
just
mate.
exhausting thinking about it. But I'm excited to do a bunch of new material next week and hone it out. Then on tour March and April, um, working on a cartoon about my life as a kid magician. Working on that right now. Working on this new Netflix show, and Julie Bowen is a great actress from Modern Family and um, a
Hmm.
friend of mine, and she starting a production company and collaborated with her on a magic, kind of a magic workplace comedy that we pitched to NBC. So we're writing the pilot for that right now, which is kind of fun to
How
be
exciting.
to kind of be behind the scenes and hopefully, like I take great pride in doing my best to represent the world and art of magic in I
Hmm.
think the light that we know it should be seen in. So
Yeah.
yeah, because I think it is such a rich world that also is hilarious. Well, magicians are pretty funny and ridiculous. So
This is true.
lots of
This
good
is true.
fodder.
We're out of time, Mr. Willman,
Mm.
but we end the show with 4 quick fire questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Favourite pizza topping?
Pepperoni.
Favourite movie?
Oh man, rapid fire. Okay. Crap. Okay, say it again. We'll get the rapid fire here.
Mm,
I'm still trying to narrow it down. I'm
okay,
I'm stalling. This is
okay.
not rapid,
I realise it's
but
difficult.
it's a very tough
Well, it's okay.
question. I'm gonna say that
Favourite
it's
movie?
Midnight in Paris.
Favourite people or person who makes music?
Martin Sexton.
A name I'm unfamiliar with, I shall investigate. And finally, who would you rather fight? One massive Andy Gladwin or 100 tiny Joshua Jays?
Oh man.
I know. Hard
Oh,
hitting, right?
100 tiny Joshua Jays. That would be really adorable.
Justin Willman, should people live in a country where they don't have to pay exorbitant airfares to come and see your show, where can they find out more information about the tickets for your upcoming tour?
Well, you can go to justinwillman.com. And assuming you spell my name correct in the podcast description, you just add a .com after that.
I shall try my hardest.
Okay.
Justin Willman, thank you so much for giving us your time this afternoon. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you, Damien.